So you want to captain the Warspite. Well, do you like history? Do you like being the pride of the Royal Navy? And do you like tea? Well then, the Warspite is for you. And if you're new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe. It will mean the world to me, and you'll stay up to date whenever I post the next So You Want a Captain series. Let's get into the Warspite. Now, the history of the Warspite... Oh boy, it's a long one, and I'm not going to cover everything. If I did, it would probably take me roughly an hour, probably, no doubt. I'm being no joke whatsoever. That's how long in service she's been, and how awesome she is, and what she means to, the Royal Navy. She is probably the pride of the Royal Navy. So let's start getting into her. She was commissioned on March 8, 1915, and she's got a lovely history of always running into something. She runs aground, she runs into other ships, she runs into mines. There's just a lot with her, which is always funny, to be honest with you. So this is just a running gag with the Warspite, is that she just runs into things. So that's the first thing I wanted to throw out there. Her first actual action was in 1915 because of World War I, and she was participating in the Battle of Jutland. During this battle, she didn't take a lot of hits at the beginning. She was dealing a lot of damage, but then finally there was a hit to the rudder, and so she got stuck, and she kept making circles. She had to make 2 circles because the captain said, nope, I'm not stopping, and it's too dangerous, so might as well keep moving and making us a harder target to hit, which was a great idea. But she did, unfortunately, she did get hit a lot. One of the shells even hit the bread room that was in the Warspite, and one of the bread bagels things, I don't know, hit a couple of people, and everybody thought that German was firing loaves of bread at them. So that's kind of a little funny story of her. But yes, she survived the Battle of Jutland. It just took her a while to get out of it because of her rudder. And they've been trying to at least repair her in any way, shape, or form, but she always had rudder issues in World War I, and she often served as the flagship during World War I. So that's kind of the brief, once again, super brief history of the World War I. So in World War II, she got a refit. She got everything done with that. She mostly was shore bombardment protection, but she does have some battles here and there where she has the longest recorded battleship to battleship shot between herself and the Julius Caesar of the Italian battleships, sorry, while they were fighting in Italy, or in the Mediterranean, sorry. She also took on damage from she took on 1, but 3 guided missile bombs that German fired at her. She only took 1 of them. The other 2 was a miss, and then a near miss, which did some damage, and then actual damage to her. So because of that damage, she had to go back to the UK to get repairs. Unfortunately, she didn't get everything repaired before the landings of Normandy, but she still was participating in it because they needed every single gun ever. So she took part of the landings of Normandy with 3 turrets instead of 4 because of that damage that she received. But she fired a lot of shells, and whenever I say a lot of shells, she fired her whole entire ammunition, went back to UK, reloaded, came back, fired some more. Fired all of them. And because of all that constant firing, her rifle barrels were not very good anymore because of how much she fired. So she, after the landings of Normandy, she had to get refit again. So she, was always part of war bombardments and protection of fleet. I mean, she didn't do a whole lot after that. There's still, some stories here and there where she participated in the Mediterranean Sea. But for the most part, her story pretty much ends at 1943. So she was supposed to help out the U.S. fighting the Japanese in the Pacific, but she just needed so much refit and so much damage that they couldn't fully repair her in time. So with that, where she was at that moment in time, they thought about making her a museum ship, which is probably what they should have done with this ship, because she is probably the pride and the grand old lady of the Royal Navy, and it would have been so cool to go visit her today if she was still around. But unfortunately, they decided to do scrapped with her. But the Warspite didn't want to go to the scrapyard, at least not willingly. So then basically what happened was, while she was on her way to the scrapyard, her tow cable snapped, and then she ran aground in a cove, and that's where she pretty much ended up at, where there was a lot of attempts to try to get her out of there, but it just wasn't gonna happen whatsoever, because it was just how that cove was, and the Warspite just didn't want to go to the scrapyard. But that's kind of like this kind of sad story of the Warspite. Super amazing ship, a lot more history. If you want to do more, want to learn more, there's other videos out there on YouTube, and of course you always have museums that you can go check out. But what is she like in game? Well, in game, she kind of lives up to her history. She can take a hit, that is for sure. She's pretty excellent on basically health wise. Her guns are pretty good with the basically accuracy of them, so they're always pretty good and powerful guns. The HE part of them aren't as good as like higher tier UK battleships on HE's penetration, but still gets the job done. She's got pretty stealthy for a tier 6 battleships. Decent speed. She's faster than US. That's all that matters, right? Because US is too slow for me. Maneuverability is a little dicey. Not the best maneuverability, but it's alright. It does take her a little bit of time to get to her top speed, but once she gets there, she at least has a good top speed, but it just, once again, takes her a little bit of time. The other downside to her is that she has few barrels, one of the fewest barrels in battleships at tier 6, which is okay, but you have to also kind of, if you want to fire all your guns, you do have to present a lot of broadside. And then the other part about her is her turrets are the slowest things ever, it feels like. They just take forever for them to fully rotate if you need them to, so don't try to get into close game and engagements, basically, is what I'm saying. Her secondary and her AA are kind of, they're there. her secondary and AA are there. They're just not the best. Let's just say you're not going to be getting amazing secondary hits on things, but you can be a troll and go down the secondary build if you absolutely want to. I would not recommend it, but I mean, it works. It still works. I mean, it's still, you know, it's still viable to go secondary for her. It's just, overall, it's average. It's not like the best thing ever, but it's average. So the most part for this ship, you want to be about medium range, which is about 9 kilometers to 12 kilometers. Unfortunately, you don't have a very good range on your guns. You only have 16.3 range on them, and your spotter aircraft takes forever to come back, so you can only extend it so much, basically, is what I'm saying. So she's basically a medium range battleship. She does really, really well in it, and because she has really good armor and that type of stuff and health for it, that's the reason why she's just decent and great at being medium range. Overall, I mean, she's just an overall very, you know, good ship. I wouldn't say she's overpowered. Like, you know, you never see anybody complaining on the forums about her, so that's like a good thing, right? The biggest thing for me, though, is, once again, this is another ship that Wargaming has brought into the game, and it's just bringing the history of her and making it known to generations and generations that probably don't have like a decent history channel that just wants to do reality TV shows. But if you're super excited about history, this is the ship for you. She's very, very pretty. I'm not gonna lie. She's one of the prettier battleships in the game. I may be a little bit biased, but I think she's pretty. But once again, I really wish that they wouldn't have scrapped her, but we have World of Warships at least to remember her, see what she's like, see how powerful she was, and just how amazing this ship is. So, I would basically recommend to buy her because she's probably the best best ship in the UK premium tier for battleships to basically get credits on and also to get your captain skills up. So she's good in those aspects, and you know, why not? It's the Warspite. Come on now. It's like, what else would you want? But finally, the last thing I'm going to show you are the captain perks. The captain perks, not anything crazy. I mean, I will highly recommend Expert Marksman because, oh my gosh, you need your turrets to move. Other than that, you can build whatever you want with her. It's not crazy. There's nothing like mandatory on her. I basically say you just need a 3-point captain and you're gonna be good with her, which is very nice to see because sometimes it gets tiring whenever you just see I have to have a 12-point captain to do anything in this game, so or higher. So that's the good news with this ship is you basically only need three captain perks and you're good to go. You'll wreck as long as you know what you're capable of and what your limitations are. So as long as you know those things, you should be good to go. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down in the comment section what ship you want to see next. And if you're new to my channel, thanks for making it to the end, and feel free to subscribe so that you know whenever I post the next So You Want a Captain series. And with that, thanks. Bye-bye.